Even the worst criminals do not want to know what these two villains have done. Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about possibly a pretty dark video. Today we're going to be talking about who is worse, Injustice or Apopis. Now, if you don't know what Injustice, he's basically an amalgam of the Joker, like Luthor, Cheetah, Eobard Dawn, Sinestro, Black Manta, Brother Blood, and Malefic. He is the arch enemy of Justice. Also forgot Black Adam. Forgot Black Adam as well. He is the arch enemy of Justice, who's a combination of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Barry Allen, Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, Aquaman, Cyborg, Shazam, and Martian Manhunter. And you don't know who Apopis is. Apopis is a Marvel villain who is, well, an amalgam of, like, Mephisto, Barracuda, and Raoul Bushman. He's the arch enemy of Khan, Mertezger. I don't know. I don't speak Egyptian. So if any of you are Egyptian, please tell me how you pronounce it. I'm terrible at pronunciations. Basically, Khan is an amalgam of like Punisher, Moon Knight, and Ghost Rider. So let's begin. Number 10. Injustice believes in anarchism. Now, believing in anarchism is not a terrible thing if you don't know, or if you're misguided. It's only a terrible thing if you are misguided. So it's not a bad thing if you believe in it. But if you're misguided and think like violence is the right term, then that's a bad thing. Many YouTubers have explained how anarchism works, and some of them explain it really good. Like if you're like misguided, it could lead to some trouble. So, and because Injustice is a terrible criminal, what I mean by terrible is not he's so bad. He's just like does not know what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. It's just that he does some horrible crimes, and he's that bad of a person. But he believes in anarchism. He believes the government should like have no control. I think that's what anarchism is. I think. I'm not entirely familiar with anarchism, but all I know it has something to do with government. Either of you like the government or hate the government, something like that. I'm not familiar with it. Yeah. So Injustice is one of the more misguided, and that's what his Lantern Corpse represents. Apopis is number 9 should become, number 9 for Apopis is he's essentially the devil. Apopis might not look like a devil into some people, but one reason he is a devil is because of his violence and his gore, what he does. He essentially can transform people into his own spirits of vengeance. Not to mention, he is considered to be the worst crime lord of all time. He even outranked the Dark Defender, who was already a pretty intense crime lord, even being the #1 crime lord. But Apopis was like, when he arrived, he basically threw anything that a Dark Defender had, and basically created everything that no one stands for. Number 8, Injustice created many heroes and villains. Injustice, because being a speedster and time traveler, created many heroes and villains. Like, he created some Marvel heroes. And what I mean by Marvel, he didn't just create his imagination. He actually transformed them and created the events that actually turned them into, well, who they are. And that could even in some cases include Apopis. Number 7, Apopis doesn't care about anyone except himself and I guess his friends and families. One thing about Apopis that makes him crazy is that he has family members, but he doesn't. But he cares about them, and I guess you can include his friends, which does include Injustice. Yes, Injustice and Apopis both live in the same universe, and both are good friends, and are actually can be considered best friends. But Apopis does not care about anyone else but himself. So yeah, so whenever you see Apopis, and some people want to be like some of his friends, well, not his friends, but some of his gang, they're always scared of him. He's just such a terrifying character. Oh, a terrifying villain. A terrifying person, I should say. Number 6, Injustice turned many cities into straight-up war zones. One thing about Injustice is that he can actually turn, because he's considered to be one of the worst criminals ever, he turned his city into a straight-up war zone. Like literally, no one, like literally, not even a person could stand there and at least not get hurt. There were so many casualties, it was insane. He transformed many cities into like straight up war zones, like almost wars. Number 5 for Apopis is he ate a brain of his own henchmen. A brain, and this was one of his own people who actually works for him. Do you have any idea what that means? So basically, he grabbed one of his henchmen and punched a hole in him, grabbed the brain, and just straight up ate it. God. Number 4 for Injustice. He hates heroes. That's right. Heroes, like cops in the military. Unless if it's like corruption, he'll like them. But if not, no. So, essentially speaking, Injustice is considered to be the worst because he is one of the worst. Because he doesn't like anybody except criminals, basically. Criminals. Number 3 for Apopis is he ripped many people's skulls. That's right. He didn't just, he actually ripped out their skulls. Obviously they didn't eat it because you technically can't eat bone. But he ripped out a skull. Jesus. Like, Apopis is really bad. Number 2 for Injustice, and this is going to be the last, number 1, he hurts family members. Like, yeah, he actually, like, abuses them, all Peter Griffin style, like, and he likes tormenting his nemesis Justice, who, yes, they are, in fact, brothers. There's etc. Injustice is crazy. He even has a daughter who he even killed. Yes. Apopis has families as well, but at least he cares about his family. He doesn't at least hurt them. And coming for number 1 for Apopis is domestic violence. Wow, this video is certainly not going to get demonetized. Apopis has had a horrific amount of like sexual assault, and rape. A lot. He just hurts a lot of people. He raped a lot of people in Central America. I believe that's where Barracuda was at some points. Yeah. So overall, who's worse? Well, I know why some people would say Injustice, but overall, the worst villain has got to go to Apopis. He's just considered to be one of the worst, if not the worst, supervillain ever. And there are even times where even Injustice has admitted that Apopis is so much worse than him. In fact, Apopis is so bad, Injustice doesn't even know how to think. In fact, Injustice is even jealous at times because Apopis is worse. But anyways, that's my video. Who do you guys think is worse, Apopis or Injustice? If you think Injustice, please tell me why you think Apopis is worse. Please tell me why more. Please tell me more why you think is worse. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and share.